Salutations subscribers, the year may almost be over, but I still got one final video to wrap things up as I'll be answering questions I got from all my awesome viewers to celebrate my 1000 subscribers milestone, so let's get started. Phoenix Wright 2420 asked, what inspired me to become a YouTuber? I want to say sometime around my sophomore or junior year in high school, I found myself inspired by YouTubers such as The Nostalgia Critic and Black Note Comedy. Coming across their channels and seeing them talk so passionately about the things that I enjoyed, such as animation and film, made me think about how if those guys can do it, why couldn't I? But while I did have a passion about wanting to share my opinions on all the shows and movies that I would consume, I was also blinded by the desire to become famous. I wanted to be like those guys who would be invited to early screenings of the newest movies, get goodie bags from companies due to talking about their content, and getting to interview celebrities. Because of this, I became a bit obsessed with numbers and would overwork myself as I was trying to essentially force my way into obtaining stardom. It took me a few years to realize that I shouldn't be making videos as a way to become famous, but rather for fun while allowing any successes to come naturally. Another YouTuber that inspired me and whom I would go on to become good friends with as they gave me helpful tips when I was starting out was The Romance Scrooge, a YouTuber who analyzes various ships. Watching their videos made me go, wait a second, I love shipping, I could totally ramble about ships. Then there were animation reviewers like Cell Specs and Rebel Taxi, whose analysis of animated media I found to be engaging, along with MLP analysts like Silver Quill and Josh Scocho. MLP YouTubers like them, along with My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, actually had a pretty strong influence on me becoming a YouTuber, as after discovering how awesome Rainbow Dash is due to her death battle with Starscream, I ended up joining their fandom, which led me to discovering various MLP YouTubers. And due to that, when I first started making official videos, after a botched attempt of doing them on camera with a username connected to my real name, I debuted it as PC the Unicorn, despite the fact that I barely talked about MLP on my channel. It's a big reason why I ended up rebranding to PedantiCat a few years ago, as it just wasn't an accurate reflection of my channel. Though before settling on that username, I did go through a few other ideas such as Phantom Critic, Phantom Cabbage, Psychic Cobra, basically any combination of words that start with P and C, as I wanted to keep the nickname of PC. Though now folks also call me Pedanti for short. Lurid asks, what got me into media analysis in regards to characters, shipping, and lore? Becoming a part of the Gravity Falls fandom back when the show premiered definitely opened the floodgates for me in those areas, as it was my introduction to fandoms as a whole. For instance, I was a major shipper long before I even knew what shipping was, so there was a point in my life in which I was worried that I was real for being invested in the romantic lives of fictional characters. But then I discovered through my interactions in the Gravity Falls fandom that this was a totally normal thing for fans to do. Though I did later learn that people will ship anything, and I do mean anything. But joining fandoms and seeing everyone share their passion as they made theories, analyze aspects of the characters and themes, along with the level of camaraderie among fans, made me want to join in on it. I didn't exactly have a lot of people around in my life that I could talk about these things face to face, so I was thankful to discover fandoms. And of course, watching YouTubers later during my time in high school inspired me to get into media analysis even more. Nikki Rabat asked, what are my thoughts on the current state of the Power Rangers and the comics? Well, firstly, when it comes to Power Rangers, I'm a pretty casual fan. I grew up watching some of the series with SPD, Mystic Force, Jungle Fury, and Operation Overdrive being the ones that I watched the most of. I also did read the reimagining of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Go Go Power Rangers when it was coming out, which I did enjoy due to it being a modern reinterpretation of the series. As for my thoughts on the current state of things, I don't really have any strong opinions. I do find it wild that there hasn't been a new Power Rangers show for a while, as there used to be a time in which Power Rangers were always airing on TV. I also haven't had a chance to read any of the newer Power Ranger comics apart from some of Rangers Academy, which I found to be meh. Though I have heard promising things about Power Rangers Prime, so that has been on my radar for a while. Matty A asks, as a Marvel fan, do you believe the Fantastic Four should get more love and respect than what they've been getting the last 20 years? Oh, absolutely! The Fantastic Four are some of the most iconic characters in Marvel Comics, with many iconic things in the Marvel Universe originating from their comics such as Galactus, the Watcher, the Skrulls, and Black Panther, just to name a few. They're a major pillar in the Marvel Universe, with them having a unique aspect in which they aren't just your standard team of superheroes who fight crime, but are also a family of explorers who embark on crazy adventures throughout space and time. The fact that they haven't gotten the love and respect they rightfully deserve is insane to think about. The 1994 Fantastic Four movie was never released despite looking promising. The one from the 2000s didn't fully understand what made the characters and mythos so compelling, and the 2015 version that was based off the ultimate version of the characters was a complete disaster. The fact that it took until 2025 for us to finally get a good Fantastic Four movie is pretty insane. Though it's also been about 20 years since we've gotten a new Fantastic Four animated series, as the last one was World's Greatest Heroes back in 2006, which only ran for 26 episodes. They even had it rough in the comics for a while, as from 2015 to 2018 there wasn't even a Fantastic Four ongoing series. This was due to Fox having their movie rights instead of Disney, so Disney chose to be petty until Fox finally sold the movie rights to them. Being a Fantastic Four fan is rough, as they've never been as prominent in the public eye compared to the X-Men or Spider-Man in the last few decades. But with the success of the new Fantastic Four movie, the future for them looks fantastic. Phone Stories ask, how would I feel if Espio and Tangle had an adventure in a canon story, and what would I imagine they'd do? I believe an Espio and Tangle story would be fun to see, as their personalities would bounce off quite well together between Espio's serious demeanor and Tangle's excitability. While Espio can be stoic and serious, we also know that he can be a goofball, and he'd be beaming with pride when Tangle inevitably praises him for his cool ninja abilities. And given Tangle's character, she'd be asking him to teach her how to be a ninja. It would also just be nice to see Tangle's dynamic with other characters explored in depth more, as while her relationship with Whisper is great, she's the character we see her interact with the most among the cast apart from Sonic and Jewel. As for the adventure the two would go on, I imagine it being something simple like dealing with rough and tumble or some badniks causing trouble. G. Pishka asks, with the Loud House running for almost a decade now, am I still following the show? What do I think of how the show has progressed since first starting, and do I have any favorite chips for the Loud House? So for those unaware, one of my earliest videos for my channel was a review of the Loud House when it first began airing. I used to be a big fan of the show back when it started, as while the misadventures of one boy and his 10 sisters was a simple premise, it was a fun show due to its characters and comedy. Yet I ended up dropping the show around season 3, not necessarily because it got bad, but because I grew to become bitter that this show got to flourish, whereas other series like Harvey Beaks, It's Pony, and Glitch Tech got cancelled, even though I knew it wasn't the Loud House fault. Though it's funny to look back on the show and how a lot of people, myself included, thought that it would usher in a new era of Nickelodeon animation due to its success, as the last several years prior to the show, the channel mainly aired SpongeBob. But instead, it just ended up being another show that Nick would rely on due to good ratings. While I can't speak on the current quality due to not following the show anymore, I am aware that the series has gotten insane. Plots went from Lincoln wanting to sit at the grown-up table to now stopping an evil Santa Claus. I'm also amazed by how not only is the show currently on its 9th season, but also by how much content it has gotten. You got the Ronnie Ann spin-off series, The Casagrandes, that aired for 3 seasons without ending with a movie, a dozen Loud House comics, several Loud House movies, and even a live-action TV show that I still don't understand as to why it was even made. As for favorite ships, I used to be really into Ronnie Lincoln, but I'm not sure if I still feel the same way. I do find it funny that the two aren't even a couple despite all the ship baiting early on, with them only ever kissing once in the entire series at this point. Though I also do remember loving how wholesome and cute Lori's and Bobby's relationship is. Erix45 asks, what's your favorite ship tropes and your favorite enemies to lovers, be it canon or fanon? Ooh, you're speaking my language with this question. When it comes to shipping tropes, it'd be faster to list the ones I don't like, as the vast majority fills me with glee whenever they happen with a pairing I enjoy. Though if I had to narrow it down to my personal favorites, there's childhood friend romance, the fake out makeout, shut up kiss, accidental hug, accidental handhold, love at first sight, love at first fight, rivalry as courtship, and enemies to lovers. As for my favorite enemies to lovers pairing, there's Zanny x Valerie from Danny Phantom, which I still believe should have been Endgame, Ruginu from K-pop Demon Hunters, Rex x Beach from Generator Rex, Becky x Toby from World Goal, and here's a super deep cut, Dave x Princess Oma Platz from Dave the Barbarian. Penna Clips asks, is there anything property or media related you wish you could go back and see for the first time again? I'm also curious, if you could change one thing about your channel, what would it be? And is there anything you're super duper excited about coming out from any of your favorite series / something new? One piece of media that I would love to watch again for the very first time is Pantheon, an underrated adult sci-fi animated series that I cannot recommend enough. I was aware of the series' existence as it came out a few years ago on AMC Plus, but I knew nothing about it. And because I always forgot that AMC Plus existed, plus I didn't see people really talk about the show, it faded from my memory. But when I came across it on Netflix this year, I became curious, with my curiosity growing after being told that it's an incredible series. So I went into the show not knowing what to expect apart from it being highly praised and being science fiction, with my mind being blown. The first episode had me hooked as it introduced all these questions that I desperately wanted answers to. I ended up binging the 2 seasons in the span of a week, with me just feeling amazed as it just constantly kept me guessing and threw so many curveballs. I ended up giving it a rewatch a second time a while back, and it's still phenomenal due to its explorations of what it means to be human and alive. In regard to changing one thing about my channel, I would love to release videos faster, but I only have so much time in the week, plus juggling so many other things. I am glad that I have gotten better with my release schedule though. As for new stuff I'm excited to see, there's Spider-Man Brand New Day, The Last Airbender movie, the Supergirl movie, Free Rent Season 2, the Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection, and the final season of The Boys. And that wraps up my Q&A special. This was a blast to do, and I appreciate everyone who sent in questions. I may do another one of these when I hit 5,000 subscribers, or perhaps even 2,000. I'll play it by ear and see how it goes. But if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to be notified when I make a new video. Have a happy new year, and until next time, catch you later.